Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Lakers trade pitch flips Hachimura, first rounder, for versatile $160 million wing. The Los Angeles Lakers need to add three-point shooting and length on the perimeter to level up in the Western Conference, and ideally they would acquire both by adding a single player. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report on Wednesday, July 10, named Jeremy Grant of the Portland Trail Blazers as a logical target for Los Angeles to address its roster deficiencies, authoring a trade proposal that would acquire the $160 million combo forward in return for Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, a first-round pick in 2029 saddled with a top 3 protection and a second-rounder in 2030. The Lakers have had talks about bringing in Grant, per Sean Highkin of Rose Garden Report, but they've so far had hang-ups on the trade particulars, Buckley wrote. Namely, the tanking Trailblazers are trying to get both of the Lakers' tradable first-round picks, 2029 and 2031, which the Lakers are understandably not willing to move. Slice the pick request in half, add a pinch of protection on the first and tack on a future second, though, and the Blazers should be in business. Grant can do most everything the Lakers need, and most of that stuff he does exceptionally. Namely, he averaged 21 points per game last season on a roughly 2-to-1 mix of 2-point shots against 3-point tries. Grant is a career 36.4% shooter from behind the arc, but he's knocked down north of 40% of his three-pointers in each of the past 2 seasons on 5.7 attempts and 5.1 attempts per contest, respectively. Grant was a solid 2-average defender for the first half of his career, until playing for bad teams like the Detroit Pistons and Trailblazers changed that. Some of Grant's defensive decline is probably due to aging, as he will play in his 11th NBA campaign next season at 30 years old. However, poor team defense around him and a lack of incentive playing for squads that won just 23, 33, and 21 regular season games over the last 3 years, respectively, have almost certainly played a role in Grant's defensive woes. An increased offensive load at a usage rate above 25% in 3 of the last 4 seasons has also led Grant to shift more of his focus to the offensive side of the floor. The presence of LeBron James on a player's team will change that, though, as Grant would primarily play off-ball and would likely shoot fewer 2-point shots in favor of a couple more 3-point attempts per contest. Grant could convert the energy he would conserve on offense and apply it to defending opposing wings, which Grant's physical attributes, 6'7" and 210 pounds, theoretically equip him to do well. Beyond the Lakers' needs and perspective, trading Grant makes sense from Portland's point of view as perhaps the only Western Conference team out of 15 incapable of challenging for the playoffs. The Utah Jazz will probably move Lauri Markkanen and intentionally pull themselves out of that mix, but essentially every other squad in the West has an argument for at least making the NBA play-in tournament as one of the conference's top 10 seeds. Grant is the Trailblazers' best player after the team dealt Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks ahead of the 2023-24 season, and the next 2 drafts are loaded with talent. It makes sense for the Blazers to be bad, and the worst version of their roster doesn't include Grant. Getting off of the final 4 years Grant's contract and acquiring the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick with a top 3 protection should be enough incentive as it is. The inclusion of Hachimura and Vincent in Buckley's trade pitch is solely about making the salaries match up closely enough for the deal to pass league rules. Hachimura is a solid rotation player/part-time starter for a contender entering his age 26 season and could bring back an asset if the Blazers flip him elsewhere. Vincent was also a high-level contributor/part-time starter for a Miami Heat team that made a run to the NBA Finals in 2023. Vincent missed all but 11 games for the Lakers last season due to injury, but he is certainly a movable player when healthy, which means Portland would have options going forward. Lakers say goodbye to controversial veteran in projected trade. Lakers fans have turned all their attention to the trade market after missing out on their top targets in free agency. Even though free agency is still technically continuing, the options are dwindling and the Lakers have limited financial resources. That is why their best hope of improving their roster for next season is via trades. Zach Buckley of the Bleacher Report came up with a mock trade proposal that could potentially make the Lakers better for the 2024-25 season. In this deal, Los Angeles trades D'Angelo Russell and 2023 first-round pick Jalen Hood-Schifino to Toronto in exchange for Bruce Brown. Lakers receive, Bruce Brown. Raptors receive, D'Angelo Russell, Jalen Hood-Schifino, 2025 second-round pick. Brown was traded to the Toronto Raptors at the deadline in the deal that sent Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers. Toronto recently picked up Brown's $23 million team option for next season, making him an ideal trade asset. Even though he had a down season compared to his 2022-23 season, Brown is still a better fit than Russell in Los Angeles. He can defend multiple positions and plays much bigger than his 6 feet 4 inches frame indicates. He is an active defender who forces a lot of turnovers and likes to get out in transition. He would provide the Lakers with much-needed defensive intensity, pace, and two-way ability. Brown's jump shot is inconsistent but makes enough of them to keep defenses honest. He was a huge part of the Nuggets' championship run in 2023 when he averaged 26.5 minutes per game in the postseason. This is not the splashy trade Lakers fans are probably hoping for. Unfortunately, Russell doesn't have much of a market right now. He wouldn't have opted into his player option if he did. So, it may be a pipe dream for the Lakers to bring in a player much better than Brown in exchange for Russell. Considering how much more balanced of a team this trade makes the Lakers, it is worth exploring. Jared Dudley wants to become an NBA head coach. Some of us aren't JJ Redick and get to go right away. Former NBA player Jared Dudley became an assistant coach on Jason Kidd's staff at the Dallas Mavericks in 2021 and aspires to become a head coach one day. Dudley realizes, though, that it will take time and stated not everyone is as fortunate as new Los Angeles Lakers head coach JJ Redick. "I want a head coach. That's my dream and my ambition is to be able to do that," Dudley said. But at the same time, you can't have that. Some of us aren't JJ Redick and get to go right away. I gotta be able to do 2 to 3 years and 4 to 5 years as an assistant, and then we all have different times and my time will come later on. That came across as Dudley throwing shade at Redick, who had never coached even at the high school level before getting the Lakers job. The clip went viral on X, and when it came to Dudley's attention, the 39-year-old clarified that he was happy for Redick and others who got the opportunity like he did. "JJ is my guy. Great opportunity for him. Kid did it, so did Steve Kerr and my boy Steve Nash. Very rare opportunity. Ex-players. Gotta love it." Kidd got his first head coaching gig with the Brooklyn Nets just over a week after he retired in 2013. Steve Kerr, meanwhile, had only worked as an executive before the Golden State Warriors hired him in 2014. Lastly, Steve Nash had only been a consultant with the Warriors before the Nets hired him in 2020. While Kerr proved to be a hit, both Kidd and Nash flopped. The success stories are a lot fewer in comparison to the failures if you look into NBA history. It's why the Lakers giving Redick the job wasn't ideal in my opinion, and they might end up having serious regrets. I think Dudley would have been a better hire than Redick. Not only does he have some experience, but the Mavericks have had success during his time there. In his first season as an assistant, the team made it to the Western Conference Finals, and then this past season, they got to the NBA Finals. It was reported that the Lakers wanted Dudley to be an assistant on Redick's staff, but he appears to have turned down the offer. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jared Dudley? Leave your opinion in the comments.